inside the Whittemore Center here in Durham, New Hampshire, as we kick off Coach's Corner yet again. My name's Nate Bridges. Phil Kincaid will be along throughout the season as well. We're going to sit down all season long with the players and coaches that make this women's ice hockey program possible up here at the University of New Hampshire, and of course the head coach of the Wildcats sitting to my right, and it's Brian McCloskey. So, Coach, first and foremost, thanks for giving this a rebirth, if you will. It's been a few years since we did this.
Yeah, it has, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it for the players, Nate, too. I think it's a great way to get some feedback from our kids and the experience as they go along. And, of course, we've got a young team this year, so there'll be some interesting observations as the year goes on.
There always is, I'm sure. But let's start with generalities. 3-3-2 rather to open up the season. Just coming off the trip up north, the north country of New York, Clarkson, St. Lawrence. In general, you guys were idle this past weekend. What do you see out of your team thus far?
We've gotten a lot better. We have probably pretty much. I never should say there's nothing unexpected because there's certainly been some twists and turns. Some of them very positive, but I figured we would be challenged offensively. We are. We don't have that much scoring depth, but I like the balance we have in our core group. Young D, we don't have a senior out there, and 3 freshmen playing regularly, and obviously Lindsay's been in the net for us for the last 3 years, but we have Jen Gilligan, who's distinguished herself as well, another freshman. In fact, I was looking at the lineup the other night, and when we were in the North Country, and as they always say, strong down the middle. Well, our 3 centers are 2 sophomores and a freshman, and then you've got 3 freshmen on the blue line, a freshman in net, and when we were in the North Country, and then you've got a sophomore and 2 juniors. So that's a really young down the middle, but. I'm very, very pleased with the way they've performed so far, and the team as a whole. And like I said, we've really made some big strides. That's why, as I said to you at the start, I'm anxious to get back into the competitive cycle here. It was a pretty intense 5 or 6 weeks now between now that we're back. We had the week off. Now we're back in action, and right from now till we break for exams.
Obviously, any team wants to be home more than they're away. But with such a young team, after this game against Vermont coming up this week, you're on the road for 5 straight. What can that do for such a young team? Can it be a building block for the future, really get the team to bond a little bit more?
I think, I always feel the road's good for young teams. I think, especially early on, it toughens you up. It also can expose you. I mean, clearly, North Country, good example. I thought we played well enough to win at least one or potentially both games. But those 2 teams play well in their own buildings as well. So I think we just got to take it a game at a time. I don't think we can get ahead of ourselves. We can't look at the skein of 5 road games and say, "Oh my God, we got to go 3-2 in this loop." I think we're just going to have to see how we progress game to game. And what we've observed so far is that. Because we're a little bit lean numbers-wise, is we seem to have good energy Friday night, and we seem to play a little bit more crisply. And Saturday's been a challenge for us. There's no question. We've run out of gas in a few games, and what that generally the way that translates is you see your team making bad decisions, and we've probably played less cleanly with the puck and without. On the second night. So we're going to have to address that, and hopefully, as we go forward, we'll get into the rhythm a bit.
Being at home for a few games that I've seen here, Boston College, Colgate, Syracuse, the one thing that really stands out versus anything else that you guys have done over the last few years, a lot of shots between the dots, a lot of movement inside the hash marks. Last year, a lot of shots from the perimeter. What has changed this year versus last year, even the year before? I
just think we're getting back to some of the offensively minded kids. Well, first of all, I think some of our veteran forwards, Christine Horn, Lavoie, Ariel O'Neill, those particular players, Emma Clark as a senior, but they've really stepped their game up, and I see the young kids making plays and being a little more aggressive. It's a little more, certainly compared to last year's team. This team will go into the paint and they'll get they'll play physical. So I mean, the big question is can we cash in? We're creating a lot of good chances, as you know, and. So we're pretty, it's easy to be optimistic, but at the same time, you've got to finish.
Well, penalties. I think what was it 7 of your first 8 games. I think you've had more penalties drawn against the other team than compared to the other team. Was it 10.5 penalty minutes a game? Concern at all?
It's a little concerning, but I think what I like is that when I watch, we're certainly taking a handful of dumb penalties. That's concerning, but I also think that part of it is just been maybe overexertion on our part, trying to make a great defensive play, and maybe not the best decision, but it's hard to fault the effort. So, yeah, we need to make sure we, going forward, that we do a little better job than that. We don't want to be killing penalties all night. I'm very impressed with our penalty killing unit. I mean, other than down at BC when they kind of caught us out of gas, we've really been able to weather a number of power play opportunities, but that's an area we've got to get better. I mean, you don't want to be giving the other team 2-1 every night.
So Vermont Thursday night here at the Whittemore Center, then you hit the road for Dartmouth. That Dartmouth game's always fun. Nice interstate rivalry. Talk a little bit about the next 2 games here coming up in the foreseeable future.
It's kind of neat, the 2 games, because, of course, Vermont's a good cross-state rival, and, I mean, they've gotten a lot better. Tim's done a really good job. And, they tied Niagara both last week. They split with Providence. I mean, the middle is getting very crowded.
Maine against BC last week.
Yeah, Maine against BC. So we'll have our hands full. I think they're going to be 2 great games. Dartmouth, I've talked to Mark Hudak this morning, actually, just to go over scheduling in the future, but we've kind of agreed, which we're doing this year and for the foreseeable future, to play home and away every year. I love the rivalry. Both schools support the sport, and even though we're not in each other's league, there's been a nice, competitive, healthy rivalry between the 2 schools. So, I mean, I think it's great hockey. It's a nice opportunity for us. We get a Thursday home game, a Sunday road game, and so we're not going back to back, and hopefully we can put together 2 good efforts.
So that's Thursday here at the Whittemore Center, and then the Wildcats head off to Dartmouth, and it kicks off a 5-game road trip for the Wildcats. We'll be here every week throughout the season. UNHWomen'sHockey.com for Coach McCloskey, Nate Bridges, and Phil Kincaid behind the scenes. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you next week.